This Mountaineer coach in history against the Pitt Panthers, 3-1 under first-year coach Paul Evans. Here at Fitzgerald Fieldhouse, we're ready for the starting lineups. And here with that starting lineup for both the Panthers and the Mountaineers, alternately, Clayton Hartman.
Here are the starting lineups for tonight's basketball game. Beginning with the guards for West Virginia, 6'1" senior from Highland Park, Michigan, number 14, J.J. Krall. For Pitt, 6' senior from Buffalo, New York, number 14, Curtis Aiken. For West Virginia, 5'11" freshman from Smithers, West Virginia, number 4, Steve Berger. For Pitt, 6'3" sophomore from Elizabeth, New Jersey, number 11, Mike Goodson. And now the forwards. For West Virginia, 6'7" senior from Montreal, Canada, number 50, Wayne Yearwood. For Pitt, a 6'6" sophomore from Akron, Ohio, number 34, Jerome Lane. For West Virginia, 6'7" sophomore from Washington, D.C., number 24, Darryl Prue. For Pitt, 6'5" junior from Detroit, Michigan, number 33, Demetrius Gore. And the centers. For West Virginia, 6'9" senior from Middletown, Pennsylvania, number 23, Darryl Pinckney. And for Pitt, a 6'10" junior from Bridgeport, Connecticut, number 32, Charles Smith. The Mountaineers are coached by Gail Catlett. And coaching our Pitt Panthers, Paul Evans.
The Panthers are a 6-point favorite because of the home court advantage. We'll have the tap in just a moment.
Something about the night when the stars come out to play. The feeling, it's so right. It's my favorite time of the day. So give me the night, give me the night, give me a icy light. Oh, give me the night, give me the night, give me an icy light. Clear, refreshing, and bright. The choice that's always right. So give me the night, give me the night, give me an icy light.
Miss Jones! Oh, no, Miss Jones, 25 in red.
Because work is tough enough, there's Canon's NP3525 dual color copier. It lets you change colors.
Not the grapes in red, just the apples?
And it's the only copier that copies in 2 colors at the same time, with just a touch.
Oh, forget the grapes, just give me more apples.
Canon's dual color copier, with a singular difference. Call ABM for Canon office equipment at 922-5042.
Bill Hillgrove along with Ron Perry. And Ron, I think one of the keys tonight is the fact that West Virginia has done a good job offensively inside, but they're running into probably their stiffest challenge in Smith and Lane of the Panthers.
It should be a very interesting battle, Bill, in the front court. Both teams will really be going at each other to hit the boards.
Panthers will have 6'10" junior Charles Smith jumping center against 6'9" senior Darryl Pinckney of Middletown, New York, originally from South Carolina. Gene Monge, the referee, has the ball in the air, and here comes West Virginia in their away uniforms. Dark jerseys with that gold numeral. Outside number 4 is the freshman. Number 14 is J.J. Krall. Krall is a senior. Panthers setting up early in a zone defense.
1-2-2 zone, Bill, trying to put some pressure on the guards, but also setting up a good rebounding position inside.
They opened against Xavier in a man-for-man and stayed with it for half the first half.
I asked Paul Evans before the game if we'd see that, and he did say early in the second half he anticipated we would, wants to avoid foul trouble early.
Shot clock at 7. 5. Krall with a prayer. Krall with the rebound. Loose ball. And what do they call? 3-second
Kroll had to shoot that ball up right away when he tried to double pump a couple of times and dump it off. Too much time in the paint.
Here's the West Virginia press, and number 11 and number 33 will be the keys to it. Goodson is 11, and Smith now to relieve some of the pressure, and here come the Panthers attacking. Jerome Lane, and the Panthers lead it 2-0.
That was three-quarter court pressure, Bill. 2-2-1 style. Pitt did a very good job to get the ball into the middle to Charles Smith, and they attacked, as we mentioned at the top of the show, and really went for the score.
Keep your eye on Jerome Lane, number 34 of the Panthers. He leads the Big East in rebounding so far. 13 boards a game. He's been a demon on the offensive boards.
Wow, he's outstanding, and he really does have a nose for the ball on the offensive end, and that's just hard work.
And he's stronger this year. And there's Gale Catlett in his 9th season at West Virginia, has taken the Mountaineers to 6 tournaments, including 4 NCAAs.
Winningest coach in Mountaineer history. He's done a great job.
The point guard is number 4, Steve Berger, only a freshman from Smithers, West Virginia. Said he always wanted to go to West Virginia ever since he was a puppy. Number 24 is Darrell Prue. The loose ball is off a Panther. Good play by Wayne Yearwood, an alert play.
A little too high on that alley-oop pass, but Yearwood was very alert to throw that ball off the Pitt defender.
23 on the shot clock. Kroll. Lane trying to check him, but loosely so. Yearwood is number 50, their leading scorer. 10 on the shot clock. Yearwood. Goodson clears the boards, and here come the Panthers on the break. Demetrius Gore. Aiken can't take advantage of the screen that Lane had set, so the Panthers restart. The Mountaineers coming out and challenging the basketball.
Mountaineers are playing man-to-man defense, trying to keep the ball away from Goodson up top. Good look by Lane.
Gore had the pass hit him on the hands, and the hands were above the head. He just didn't expect it. That was the problem. He was wide open.
He was surprised. Lane did have his head up and have a good alert pass.
Berger trying to penetrate and get around Aiken, and here comes Kroll to work the point for a while as Berger slides to the left wing. Number 14 is J.J. Kroll, senior from Highland Park, Michigan. Inside, the Mountaineers bang the ball and draw the foul. What do they call? They called it on Jerome Lane. And for Lane, that's his first, and that's the first personal of the basketball game.
One thing I think you'll notice watching this game as you get a good close-up look at Lane is that when West Virginia doesn't have the fast break opportunity, they will swing the ball around the perimeter, and they have a very forward-oriented offense, and they'll try to get it into their big people and try to get away from a running match in this game.
Prue, only 46% from the line, makes his first. West Virginia trails at 2-1, and Prue has a chance to try.
West Virginia is only coming into this game shooting 64% from the free throw line, and with 5 consecutive wins, you haven't been able to find too much wrong with what they've done, but that's an area where Catlett will look to improve.
The game is tied at 2. Darrell Prue does the job, and the Panthers work against the press now in a tie situation. Trapped is Lane. Goodson, number 11, against Berger. West Virginia man for man right now. Aiken with Kroll to the left side. Aiken did not take a three-pointer against Xavier Monday night. Panthers didn't need the three-pointer. Here's one here, and it's 5-2.
He must have heard you on that one. He set himself up right after you said it, Bill. Nice touch by Curtis. He's just shooting uncanny from the field.
17-11 left first half. West Virginia down by 3 going to work, and the Panthers staying in that 1-2-2 zone.
It's packed a little bit inside. There's good fronting going on the big people for West Virginia, and they really do want to look to Pinckney, Prue, and Yearwood to try to get it inside. Yearwood with Demetrius Gore gets it back and goes up for the easy layup. Fine pass from the corner by Darrell Prue. You very rarely see that second pass work with the cutter just going through, but Yearwood was left alone. Good athletes for West Virginia. They're able to play the 2-2-1 zone press and drop back to a man-to-man defense. Have to have good athletes to do that. Gore climbs the ladder, then goes in for the bank shot, and the Panthers lead it by a score of 7-4. He's really playing under control. He was the most improved player, I thought, in the Big East last year, and he's improved upon that. What a player. Yearwood missing from long range, and here comes Gore for the Panthers. Great pass to Curtis Aiken for the score. 9-4. That's what you call versatility, being able to rebound, keep your head up, and really play like a guard. And right now, Gore is playing the small forward position, but on a play like that, you'd have trouble saying he wasn't a backcourt player. Looked like one of John Kangemi's passes down court there. keeping his head up on the post pattern.
Panthers with a 5-point lead. This is Pinckney. Touched it for the first time inside and went off a Panther out of bounds. It'll be Pitt's ball as Gale Catlett goes to his bench. Quickly off the bench is Tyrone Shaw, 6'8" junior from Alexandria, Virginia. And he's been productive, averaging 13 points off the bench. Panthers lead at 9-4. We'll be back.
Captain Al here tells me I got a real good shot at a 600-pound marlin. I better, because he's charging me an arm and a leg for the privilege. But with Piedmont's low winter fares, I figure I've already saved a bundle. So whether you want to go deep-sea fishing in Florida or ice fishing in Minnesota, just call Piedmont. Hey, the fare's this low. You won't catch me sitting around this winter. Whoa! You okay? Hey, you know the water's great this time of year?
We made it! Our first real deal!
Now, if we can just make our flight.
You're hot, you're hot.
Aces, we got red hot cars, we got a red hot crew, we got super value rates, we try harder to. Aces, we're red hot for you.
And how good a deal did we get on that car?
When you're hot, you're hot.
Aces, red hot.
This copyrighted telecast is produced by the authority of the Big East Conference and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express consent of the Big East Conference is prohibited. Panthers lead at 9-4. Here come the Mountaineers swinging into action. Number 4 is Steve Berger, the freshman point guard. Shaw missing. Great rebound effort by Prue, and West Virginia keeps it alive. Tyrone Shaw into the lineup in place of J.J. Kroll for West Virginia.
Shaw played for San Jacinto JC last year in Texas, national champs.
Goaltending is the call. Pinning it on the glass after it had reached its apex was Charles Smith. It's 9-6.
That's the key, Bill. That ball was on its downward flight as ruled by the officials, and Smith caught the ball as it was on its way down with a chance to go in. Good call.
Darryl Prue credited with a field goal on the goaltending by Charles Smith, so it's 9-6. The Panthers' lead is cut to 3 points. Curtis Aiken working the left side. Lane now decided at the last moment to change his entry point, and it cost him. And here come the Mountaineers trying to take advantage. Berger feeds inside to Shaw. Good offensive move, and he gets the roll with a circus move, and it's 9-8.
Well, Shaw's been productive, averaging 13 a game off the bench, and you can see why. He comes in and he looks for his offense right away.
Had his own little private big top in the lane that time. Panthers leading by 1 now, facing that West Virginia pressure. Sophomore point guard Mike Goodson, number 11. Senior captain is Curtis Aiken, and Gore has the ball stripped by Pinckney. Here come the Mountaineers with a chance for their first lead. Yearwood. Good rebound, Shaw, but then Lane took it away from him. Aiken, great change of direction, but too many blue shirts, and he has to hold up.
That's a good call by Curtis to bring it out. He had 4 blue shirts right there, and he said, hey, time to bring it back out and set it up.
Gore off to Goodson. Goodson can shoot from three-point range. He's a 33% shooter from outside the 21-foot line. What a pass to Charles Smith. All alone. West Virginia got caught coming out too far.
Much better patience that time by the Panthers. They took what West Virginia gave them the last 2 times. They looked for it kind of quickly with Lane and Gore. That time they were more patient, and you saw the result.
A jam by Smith, his first field goal, and it's 11-8. The Panthers have a 3-point lead. 13:39 left first half. West Virginia working against the Panthers zone. It's a 1-2-2. Aiken is the chaser outside.
Virginia has a much bigger lineup in now with Shaw there, and Yearwood is the number 2 guard.
And they call the foul on Gore for not giving Shaw enough of the baseline. And Paul Evans questioning the judgment of referee Jim Burr.
Now this easily could have been a travel as well. We see a little slip right there, and as a result of the slip, the pivot foot came up, and he walked before that, and then you've got the contact for the foul.
He reached around, and it generally was a call. From our vantage point, we couldn't see it till the replay. Gore did reach around. West Virginia bangs it inside. Yearwood has it blocked. They keep it alive, and Smith climbs high for the Panther rebound.
Playing over the rim on that one.
Pitt by 3. Working quickly. Aiken Back outside. Michael Goodson says, let's try it again here against man-for-man defense by the Mountaineers. 5-0 coming in. It's only lost to Illinois by 2. Gore after the dribble inside the lane. What a pass by Demetrius Gore.
Well, for you younger players watching this game, that's a clinic on offense. The ball was brought down. I thought that Goodson showed great poise to set up. The ball was swung, and what do you get? A layup.
Panthers by 5. West Virginia trying to counter. Shaw gets it to Prue, left corner. Here comes Berger from 3-point range. The Panthers have a break. Demetrius Gore. Yes, and the foul.
Good defense creates good offense. Good D by Pitt. End up with a very easy layup on the offensive end.
And I think a freshman mistake. Gore was going to score. It's just really a latest foul. He probably didn't have much of a chance to stop it.
Berger's either got to grab him there and force the 2-shot foul, or you're going to foul and not let Gore get that easy one. As a result, this could be a 3-pointer.
Demetrius Gore shooting well from the line. Close to 90% on the year. Eric Semish gets ready to come in for West Virginia. A 6'8 senior from Ambler, Pennsylvania. 5.6 points a game, number 34. And 1.8 rebounds.
I think the free throw shooting is indicative of Gore's game. Free throw shooting is concentration and taking your time, and his whole game has really come so much more under control from his freshman season.
Panthers have doubled West Virginia at 16-8. West Virginia trying to climb out of an early trench right here. Shot clock reaches 27 seconds. And Shaw lets it fly from downtown. Smith, easy rebound. Here comes Gore. 3-on-1. Aiken on a full pivot, couldn't get it to go, and here come the Mountaineers counterattacking at the 12-minute mark.
I think the pass was better suited to go to the left on that one. Curtis was almost under the basket when he caught it.
Darryl Prue works left corner for West Virginia. Left wing is Kroll, who's back in there, and now we got a reach in by Gore. Foul for the Panthers, their third team foul. West Virginia has just one so far. And for Demetrius, his second personal foul. And we'll have a stoppage of play. 11 minutes, 47 seconds left, first half. The Panthers lead it 16-8.
This is Wile E. Coyote. He's been trying to catch that guy for years. What makes him think he can now? Ah, the Donnelly Directory. It's not the same old yellow pages. It's maps, guides, and emergency information. It's a complete, colorful yellow pages that's better and easier to use. Won't he ever learn? Oh, no. Good thinking. The Donnelly Directory. That was close. The Donnelly Directory. It's a better yellow pages and much, much more.
There's something special cooking at Eden Park. Always has been.
The Dodge Player of the Week in the Big East is 6'5 senior forward Howard Trish at Syracuse. A career-high 31 points in the Orange's 94-74 victory against Northeastern Saturday in the championship game of the Carrier Classic. He was the MVP. Congratulations to Howard Trish. I think Jim Boeheim is looking to Howard for a lot of leadership this year.
I think Jim Boeheim was even surprised by that point output by Howard Trish. Trish really asserted himself as a role player last year. What was his previous high? 16 points before that. He really had an outstanding ball game.
Yearwood can't get it to go. Smith had the rebound stripped. Here comes Prue, and a whistle on the play and a foul inside by the Panthers. Prue has a three-point try coming. The basket's good, and the foul is on Demetrius Gore, his third. And here comes Rod Brooken off the Panther bench.
That's the first time that West Virginia has really been able to get that offensive rebound and cash in. Prue with the chance for the three-pointer, and Prue has a half a dozen points in this game.
Darryl Prue, the 6'7 sophomore from Washington, D.C.'s Dunbar High School.
Oh, a lot of great players have come out of Dunbar.
Baltimore Dunbar.
Baltimore Dunbar. Prue had 15 against Pitt last year. He's playing well in this one.
Lane missing. I'm sorry, Aiken missing and Lane following, and we've got a foul away from the basketball by West Virginia's Eric Semish, number 34.
Foul is on number 34.
Panthers lead is a 5-point advantage. I'm sorry, a 6-point advantage, 16-10, 11:25 left first half. Team fouls, Pitt has 4, West Virginia has only 2.
Who was on that offensive board again, though? Jerome Lane. He's just a worker. He has a nose for the ball, and he knew to go to the weak side that time, and he found the ball.
Jerome Lane, the junior from Akron, missing off the front of the rim. Came in averaging 72% from the line. He has improved his shooting percentages both from the floor and from the line considerably in his junior season so far. Gets the second one, and it's 17-10. The Panthers by 7 points.
I understand that National Sports Festival team that he played on over the summer really gave him a lot of confidence as he led the club in scoring.
Semish, he's not hesitant from outside. Aiken last touched it. It belongs to West Virginia. Panthers leading by 7. And J.J. Kroll looking to the bench to get instructions from Gail Catlett. Semish has the ball go off his leg out of bounds, and the ball belongs to the Panthers. In the turnover department, each team has turned it over 2 times.
Pitt's doing a very good job sealing off the inside passing lanes, preventing the inside game for West Virginia to get on track. West Virginia, on the other hand, is staying with their three-quarter court pressure. Goodson's been doing a very good job.
Good job defensively by Pinckney, who knocks it out. It's Pitt's ball in front of the West Virginia bench. And coming in is Steve Berger, the freshman. He'll replace Eric Semish for West Virginia.
And that'll push Yearwood back to the small forward slot.
Mike Goodson against man for man, swings it left side to Aiken. Goodson and Aiken back and forth. Now Goodson wanted to go back to the weak side, but he sends Rod Brooken on through, and he looks to Brooken in the left corner instead.
West Virginia in a 2-3 zone.
2 men on Lane, and he gets the second effort. What an effort on the second try by junior Jerome Lane.
As you see, Coach Paul Evans, watching from the sidelines, has to be happy with the way Lane is going after those offensive boards.
Lane, the Panthers' leading scorer with 8. Pitt leads it by 9, their biggest margin right now. 10-10 left first half. Yearwood finally hits one, and West Virginia draws within 7. Yearwood's second field goal and his 4th point of the evening.
Well,
go ahead.
If Yearwood can start cashing in from the outside, that'll loosen up the Pitt zone, which has been very packed in the lane, Bill.
Year's first field goal was inside on a fine feed from Darrell Prue. Dangerous cross court by Goodson, but Aiken is wide open, and so the Panthers working the perimeter now. As Brooken works the left side, and Goodson from downtown. No, over the back, and it's West Virginia's ball.
It's all right that he takes that shot, though, because Goodson is a penetrator, and he'll be looking for people. If he can hit a couple of those shots, that'll open up his passing game that much more. Paul Evans might like to see him get it 2 or 3 feet closer, though, than that one.
Goodson now 3 for 10 from 3-point range on the season. Pitt by 7. West Virginia trying to cut it down here. Kroll and Berger work outside. Yearwood works from that right corner. Now on the post to Pinckney with the air ball. Brooken is fouled from behind by Shaw of West Virginia.
Brooken looked very strong going up for that rebound, and Shaw just found himself out of position.
Third team foul for West Virginia. Shaw's first personal. They've spread him around as Berger, Semish, and Shaw each have 1. Panthers have 4 team fouls, but Gore's on the bench with 3 of them. And that's a problem for Pitt. Rod Brooken, the freshman from Steele, has got to try to make up some of the slack. Brooken to Smith. Here comes Lane as the Panthers try to attack the press, but West Virginia's press is working. Pinckney with a deflection, and Berger pulls it down.
First time we've really seen those sloppy passes that were deflected. You have to bounce pass and really use good fakes.
Gall dumps it off inside. It pops loose from Yearwood. Yearwood has it knocked away, and finally inside, a foul by the Panthers. And Paul Evans jumps on trail official Mickey Crowley. It's on Brooken for pushing, and the ball belongs to West Virginia under the Mountaineer hoop. West Virginia trailing 19-12 in the early going, 8:49 left first half.
Credit J.J. Kroll. He was able to use a good head and shoulder fake, get the penetration in the lane, and dump off for an easy layup to Yearwood. But Shaw was there with that second effort.
Shaw for 2. He's an 80% foul shooter, and guess what? It wouldn't accept the basketball.
That one just didn't want to go down.
The rim spat it out. It was down and up again.
San Jacinto JC, though, in Texas, 37-0 last year. Walter Berry, another great one out of the Big East, played for St. John's, also went to San Jacinto, national champs.
Was that good enough for a national championship?
You're not kidding. 37 wins.
19-13, Pitt by 6, and again West Virginia's pressure comes up with a loose ball. Another steal for the Mountaineers. Panthers now with 4 turnovers to 2 for West Virginia, and here come the Mountaineers fighting back.
Can't be tentative against pressure.
And they say that Shaw took a bus.
No question.
Too many different directions at one time. Tyrone Shaw, junior college transfer, at 6'8". He wheels and deals, doesn't he?
Oh, he really felt the move on that one, but he would have been better off to maybe kick it off and just cut to the basket. Good pass to the middle that time by Pitt. That's always the best way to break pressure.
Smith has used up the dribble and wisely leans through the trap. The Panthers up by 6.
West Virginia is very active in their zones and their man-to-man defenses. 2-3 matchup right now, and they try to get 2 shooters and not let anyone just stand there and take the easy one.
Goodson to Aiken in the corner. Goodson, number 11, runs the Panther attack. Shot clock reaches 16. Whistle on the play. They catch Charles Smith for pushing off. And that is the Panthers' 5th team foul. For Charles, his 1st. Another change for West Virginia. Shaw comes out. So does Yearwood. Semish is back in. And I believe Prue has come back in as well. 7:58 left first half. The Panthers have a 6-point lead, but West Virginia has the basketball.
Playing ball now, playing's fun, but the best is yet to come. Now this is living, now feeling fine. Get your golden, I got mine, yeah, I got my gang, got my beer, icy golden times are here.
Icy Golden, brewed fresh and natural for a smooth and golden taste.
Yeah, I got my gang, got my beer, icy golden times are here.
He was born at the turn of the century and grew up on Pittsburgh's North Side. He went on to become perhaps the greatest sportsman in the history of the game, Art Rooney. Not just the founder of the Pittsburgh Steelers, but their father, not just admired, but loved. A great human being whose entire life has been one great performance. And we salute him. Pittsburgh National. We're a bank that believes in performance.
The Plymouth player of the game will be selected at the conclusion of tonight's ball game and during every game televised by the Big East Conference Television Network as part of the Chrysler Corporation sponsorship of Big East basketball. Panthers lead it by 6. Pitt has 6 team fouls. West Virginia only 3.
That's a little early in the game to start finding Plymouth players of the game, but Jerome Lane is off to a fast start for Pitt. And Darrell Prue has got off the board very quickly for West Virginia in this ballgame.
And has scored 6 of their 13 points. Kroll, number 14, works outside with number 4, Berger, the freshman from Smithers, West Virginia. Semish, who will shoot it from 3-point range if he gets the chance. Steal by Aiken. Aiken got off balance and he charged, and that's team foul number 7.
Crowd doesn't like that one. Curtis Aiken on the dead run. Very difficult to get position on Curtis on this play. Let's see if Kroll's able to do it. I think he's still moving on that play, Bill. He has to get in front, plant the feet, and then take the charge. There was movement. That was a blocking foul.
And I think the key was Curtis didn't go directly to the hoop. There are your
right.
team fouls, and that's a factor. The Panthers lead by 6. Prue gets loose in the paint, and it's 19-15. 8 points for Darrell Prue.
West Virginia hasn't been getting much of a perimeter game going. They've really been looking inside with it. Their backcourt hasn't scored yet. Yearwood does have one hoop, but the press is starting to assert itself.
The Panthers missed Demetrius Gore. No question about it.
Since Gore's been out of the lineup, it seems that it's been much more tentative against the pressure. As you see Paul Evans, who's unhappy. And they've stopped going to the middle against that pressure and then fanning out with the passes from there. It's been tentative since Gore sat down.
West Virginia going to work, trailing by 4. Berger, a very calm freshman. Calm, cool, and collected. And gets better with every game for the Mountaineers. Semish almost lost it, but it falls into the hands of Darrell Pinckney. The Mountaineers have the shot clock down to 22 seconds. They trail by 4.
West Virginia really looking to take time off the clock.
Prue missing. Aiken launching the fast break. A lot of blue shirts back. Goodson stopping. Goodson tried to keep it alive, but Berger was there, and here come the Mountaineers counterattacking. Semish off balance, no bank, and here comes Lane. Ahead to Goodson. Goodson wisely holds up. West Virginia had 3 people back.
3-on-3 break. Goodson shows good poise right there.
We've only seen 1 3-point goal in the game, and that was by Aiken at the very outset.
West Virginia's been doing a very good job out of their matchup zone to get to the shooters, particularly Aiken.
Curtis Aiken head faking, but he didn't use it as Prue got there. Prue with those long arms. Aiken decides to go anyhow. Jerome Lane. And Lane with a second effort, and he gets the foul inside by West Virginia.
No one was there on the weak side with Jerome Lane. He was all by himself on the weak side. This is where the rebound often goes, the opposite side. Lane is there battling for the rebound with Brooken. Tips it in, strong enough to be fouled on the play and still send it in.
Pinckney's first, West Virginia's fourth. West Virginia went into the bonus at the 7:50 mark.
One shot.
We're now at 5:40 first half.
Jerome Lane is so active.
Jerome Lane missing the 3-point play, but they call Charles Smith for pushing off. Smith's second.
Charles has been caught 2 times with his hands in bad position. The push hasn't been that bad, but his hands have been down low. He's got to keep his hands up so that the officials won't even have any reason to think that there was a push-off on the play. When they're down low and you get the rebound, right away you get called for that reach foul.
Panthers lead by 6, and Shaw, the man who was pushed, will go to the foul line. Tyrone Shaw, 6'8" junior from Alexandria, Virginia. 1 for 2 tonight, 80% on the year coming in. Pretty heavy scoring figure, 13.4 off the bench.
Well, he comes in. We saw him in this game. He looks for his offense right away. He knows his role in the club, and that's to put some points up there and to be very active, and he does it.
Shaw cuts it to 4, no, 3. Nope. It's still at 5 as West Virginia holds on. 21-16.
How did Kroll come out of there with that one?
West Virginia playing well the last 5 minutes, especially with Demetrius Gore on the Panther bench with 3 fouls.
They've slowed the tempo of the game down there, trying to get this more to a half-court game.
Smith got a piece of it. Brooken lost it. Here comes Shaw. Smith blocked. Yearwood got it. Wayne Yearwood makes it 21-18. West Virginia cuts it to 3. West Virginia doing a great job inside.
2-2-1 pressure. Very good action by Kroll at the top. He and Berger are really working defensively, and with Berger out of the game, Yearwood and Kroll are really putting pressure on in the backcourt.
Aiken against Yearwood to Brooken against Shaw. Brooken, the freshman. Yes. Falling down. Yes.
He seems fearless out there. He comes out. He's been very steady. Takes the shot when it's there. And above all else, he's very strong.
Panthers lead by 5 at 4:37. Bill Hillgrove along with Ronnie Perry. Shaw posting. Lane tipping. And here come the Panthers with a 3-on-2. Goodson. Lane stopping. Jerome Lane. 24-18. Of the 24, Lane has 12.
He's playing an outstanding first half. Credit Goodson that time for bringing it down under control, making a good decision, getting it to the hot shooting Lane.
12 of the 25, I correct that. It's still a pretty good output, and Charles Smith almost got hit with a foul, but fortunately all he did was tip the ball out of bounds. Smith, remember, has 2 fouls. He continues to play. Gore is on the Pitt bench with 3, and here comes Tico Cooper into the lineup for the Panthers, number 44. He'll replace Jerome. No, he'll replace Charles Smith, who gets the rest.
That's a good call. Charles Smith with the 2 personals. Paul Evans would prefer to not see him pick up his 3rd before intermission.
West Virginia missing, as falling down is Daryl Pinckney, and here come the Panthers with a basketball. Pinckney tried to strip it from Goodson, and Goodson somehow knew he was there.
Eyes in the back of his head.
Brooken, too much traffic outside to Goodson. Yearwood works the point of their defense.
He's very versatile. That's what you call instincts on the part of Goodson, though. How did he know someone was coming up? He just felt the pressure, and he went right between his legs.
Brooken hangs a man in the air. Brooken almost losing it. Tico Cooper gets the goal, and the foul inside. Good power move, Tico Cooper.
Good coordination between Brooken and Cooper that time. Brooken really made a great fake, but then left his feet, which was a mistake, caught himself in midair and was able to find Cooper inside, who had excellent concentration to follow the flight of the pass right there, stay with it, and he's strong enough to finish off while getting fouled.
J.J. Kroll, number 14 with the personal, and Tico Cooper will toe the line. The 6'7.5" senior from Community College of Allegheny County, 83% at the line this year. And his three-point play gives the Panthers their biggest lead, 10 points. Pitt has scored 7 unanswered points at 3:32 left in the first half.
The American work ethic. It's when what you do isn't a job. It's a commitment. It's working by a standard, not by a clock. It's when the toughest standards are your own. The work ethic built a nation, and today it's building an airline. Last year, Piedmont gained passengers 10 times faster than the largest airline in the country, and our service record was ranked #1. The work ethic. It's alive and well at Piedmont Airlines.
This one of them Japanese imports?
Hi, Colt Premier.
Mitsubishi built Colt Premier. It's fun to drive.
Oh, Tomashina.
Has the boost of optional turbo.
Sugoi turbo da.
It's luxurious. And imported only for Chrysler, Plymouth, and Dodge dealers. Colt.
Sayonara.
It's all the Japanese you need to know.
Is that Japanese?
It's Tokyo in Japan.
Huh?
The Panthers lead by 10. Coming up at halftime, we'll have a preview of the 86-87 Big East Conference, a live interview with Pitt Athletic Director Dr. Edward Bozick, and, of course, a recap of the first half. 3:32 left. The Panthers by 10. Just a moment ago, the Panthers were only up by 3 as West Virginia had put together a pretty good run.
Now, I think Pitt keyed that with good defense. They were able to control the defensive board and get out and run. Goodson keying the fast break, finding people like Lane in the open court, and that's a big lift for Paul Evans. He wanted to get Smith out of the game to avoid picking up the third foul. Cooper comes in and contributes a three-point play right away.
West Virginia with a basketball, and their leading scorer is Darrell Prue, number 24. He's got 8 points. Yearwood missing. Semic losing. Retrieving for West Virginia. And drawing the foul is number 53, Tyrone Shaw. And that is Tico Cooper with a foul. That would have been Charles Smith's third, but Charles is on the bench.
That's right. Cooper has the right, they call this the rule of verticality, to stand in the post with his hands straight up. What he did in the referee signals was come over with those arms, and that was too much leaning as far as they were concerned, picking up the foul. That was a good call.
Shaw 2 for 4 at the line tonight for 4 points.
Defensively, you're allowed to stand and even jump straight up in the plane that you're standing in, but you just can't lean over the player.
Charles Smith will come back in. Shaw missing. Cooper clearing. The outlet feed ends up in the hands of Rod Brooken after a deflection, and here come the Panthers against that vaunted West Virginia press. 3 minutes left in the first half. Pitt by 9 points.
Kroll tends to do a good job of picking up in transition.
Tico Cooper will have the basket nullified on a floor foul outside. And that is only team foul number 6, so this could be a key in for Pitt. There is no basket. Brooken
doing a good job of drawing the defense, and to say the very least in this game, Cooper is coming off the court, off the bench, I should say, onto the court and really making an impact. He's fired up.
Aiken will trigger. The Panthers leading by 9 points at 2:54. Goodson, quick passing to Aiken right side, and the Panthers now try to draw it out a little bit. So, what is it, a 1-3-1? No,
it's really a 2-3, Billy, but they put pressure on the guards and then drop in.
And they call the foul against the Panthers. It is Jerome Lane for pushing. Paul Evans does not agree.
Called it an illegal screen. There was some cutting action going on inside. They felt that Lane did not plant his feet, set his body to set up the screen down low.
Prue will go to the foul line for the West Virginia Mountaineers. Prue 2 for 3 tonight. He has 8 points to lead the Mountaineers in scoring so far. Now we got a technical against Paul Evans, called by official Mickey Crowley, and now Evans really unloads.
That's a two-shot technical, plus they'll have the one-on-one. This could be a 4-point swing.
2 minutes, 40 seconds left. This will be the one-and-one shot by Darrell Prue. Then they'll have their choice as to whom shoots the technical.
Catlett will leave him out there if he makes these, I'm sure, because he'll have the hot hand.
That cuts it to 28-21.
No, they're going to send Semish to the line. It's generally a good idea if a player nails a couple of those free throws to just let them take it. But Semish has the confidence of his coach as he sends him there for the two-shot technical.
He misses the first. He'll get another.
He's off the bench. He really hasn't shot the ball, so he's not as comfortable from 15-foot range. 6 for 8 from the charity stripe coming in.
West Virginia will have the ball as well. They now cut it to 28-22. The Panther 10-point lead suddenly is 6, and West Virginia has the basketball.
Could be a 5-point play if they can cash in on the out-of-bounds play.
The Panthers are not yet in the bonus. They're one foul away from that one-and-one situation. Tyrone Shaw, the junior college transfer, to Prue, the sophomore. New man in outside is Herbie Brooks, number 32. He's a sophomore from Mullins, West Virginia.
He was a 35-point scorer a game in high school, so he can really fill it up. He's a good perimeter shooter.
Prue over Tico Cooper, and it's 28-24.
Mountaineers have been methodically trying to work the ball inside.
And we'll stop the clock at 2:03 at midcourt. The foul will be on West Virginia's Prue, and for West Virginia's Prue, that's his second personal. 17 foul.
Brooken dribbled right into the spot just over midcourt in the corner where West Virginia wanted him to go for the trap. Very active defense right here, but Prue catches some arm along with the ball as the foul is called.
West Virginia has scored 6 unanswered points. Rod Brooken to the line for the Panthers. In his freshman season, he's 3 for 6. Gets the roll to make it 4 for 7 and giving the Panthers a 5-point lead here at the 2:03 mark.
Got a nice soft ball through on his shot. Good rotation on the ball as you see his stats on the year. And I think that free throw percentage will improve as he just takes more free throws.
Much better the second time around, and it's 30-24, and Yearwood is back in to replace Darrell Prue for West Virginia. 2 minutes, 3 seconds left of the half. The Panthers lead by 6. But here come the Mountaineers, 5-0, having defeated all their opponents by an average of 17 points so far this young season.
So if we do have a close ball game in this one, it'll be interesting to see how the Mountaineers do react to a close game. They've had big margins in most of their games.
Power move inside. Yearwood has it rejected by Cooper. Jerome Lane, and a pass to Brooken goes awry. I don't know whether the pass was a little too high. I think Rod expected the ball quicker and had to reach for it and kind of lost his concentration.
Now you saw Paul Evans' reaction. The ball did go high in there. Lane had the right idea. He just didn't execute.
So the Mountaineers hanging around, down by 6, trying to cut it right here. In the right corner, Tyrone Shaw. Out between circles is number 14, J.J. Crawl. Number 50, their leading scorer, Wayne Yearwood, has 6 points so far. Shaw can't get the bank, and the rebound comes down to Tico Cooper of the Panthers. Goodson, the sophomore point guard, to Brooken, the freshman. Now Goodson calling out instructions as to which offense the Panthers will run.
Still the 2-3 defense by West Virginia, but they put good pressure on the ball, which gives it a 1-1-3 look at different times.
50 seconds on the game clock, 19 seconds on the shot clock.
Curtis really hasn't been able to get open in this first half for his open jump shot. They've matched up with him very well.
Lane, shot altered, and West Virginia with the ball with 37 seconds left of the half. The shot clock is dark.
Good defense by West Virginia that time. Didn't give Lane the easy one. West Virginia may well hold for the last one. On the road, down by 6. They can bring it into 4 points at halftime if they can connect. Waiting till the clock gets down about 5 seconds.
West Virginia doesn't have a single point from their starting guards. Semish. Tipped by Shaw. The ball is saved by West Virginia. Great play by Herbie Brooks. He is super quick.
Walk.
With 6 seconds left of the half. A walk out front.
That's
and
a
West
good call.
Virginia turns it over.
Plenty of time for Pittsburgh to dribble the ball up court. 6 seconds on the clock. A lot of time.
3, 2, and West Virginia will have it with 1 second as Goodson, they say, stepped out of bounds.
And he says, maybe I did step on the line, but there was contact that helped me to step on the line, and that's what you hear Paul Evans saying.
Ball is in. Brooks just throws it over everything. And that's the end of the first half, and Paul Evans looks like he wants to talk to an official, but they're wisely staying away. That's the end of the first half with a score. The Panthers 30 and West Virginia 24.
In 1969, man flew farther than ever before.
So are you, Houston.
But as far as flying has come, it still has a long way to go, especially flying to many smaller cities back home. At Piedmont, we fly to places other major airlines don't, linking the smaller cities with the bigger cities over 1,000 times a day. Because Piedmont believes a trip here shouldn't feel like you're making a trip there.
It's a Big East bonanza at the Civic Arena when Pitt hosts Georgetown on January 10th and Syracuse on February 9th. Good tickets are still available. It's a great chance for Pittsburgh sports fans to see Paul Evans and his exciting Panthers square off against the cream of the Big East crop. Call the Pitt ticket office and order by phone with Visa or MasterCard. But hurry, these games will likely be sellouts. That's Pitt Georgetown on January 10th and Pitt Syracuse on February 9th. Big East basketball at its finest at the Civic Arena.
Good morning, Scout. Okay, Scout, let's start with Bruce Springsteen.
At 96.1 WHTX, we play Pittsburgh's greatest variety of music. We play your favorites of today.
Lionel Richie.
Bob Seger.
Chicago.
Billy Ocean.
Moody Blues. And the best of yesterday's hits. The Beatles, the Beach Boys.
Supremes. Rod Stewart. Starship. Fleetwood Mac. The Doors. Elton John.
Stevie Wonder. Four Tops.
And we play it all day long.
The variety never stops. 96.1.
Hey, guys, you're on.
WHTX. Good morning.
Miss Jones! Oh, no, Miss Jones, 25 in red.
Because work is tough enough, there's Canon's NP3525 dual color copier. It lets you change colors.
Not the grapes in red, just the apples.
And it's the only copier that copies in 2 colors at the same time with just a touch.
Oh, forget the grapes. Just give me more apples.
Canon's dual color copier with a singular difference. Call ABM for Canon office equipment at 922-5042.
City and you. For over 100 years, we've been brewing a beer for the man who works construction, works the big cats, works the dozer, works concrete. Iron. Always was, always will be. Tough and iron.
The Panthers at halftime have a 6-point lead. They got it up to 10 at one point after it was down to 3, but then the Mountaineers came right back and cut it to 4 and are just hanging around. And at the end of the half, something that you were not able to see is the fact that Paul Evans came over to the scorer's table to hound the officials. And at one point, Mickey Crowley said, "Now, go downstairs now." He came that close to another technical.
Now, that was a very animated scene right in front of us. Paul Evans is a competitor, a winner, and he's into this ball game. Mickey Crowley had to assert himself and just say, it's time for halftime. Let's take the break. But a very hard-played first half. I think that Paul was really upset at a couple of fouls called on Charles Smith. Low hands, and I think he didn't like the pushing fouls.
Jerome Lane led the Panthers in scoring the first half, had 12 points. West Virginia was led by Darrell Prue, who also had 12 points. And the Mountaineers, I thought, at times played real good basketball, smart basketball.
That was the thing that really caught my attention. Pitt had a couple of very good breaking opportunities in the first half, but for the most part, it was a half-court game in the first half with a 30-24 Pitt advantage. That's the tempo that West Virginia would like to have. Better D and strong D by Pitt in the second half. They'll get their running game going, and they have to stay out of foul trouble.
The Panthers lead it by 6. They played sloppy at times. West Virginia had something to say about that. The 1986-87 basketball season should be another exciting year for the Big East Conference. Mike Gorman presents the season preview with Commissioner Dave Gavitt.
I'm Mike Gorman, and joining me for this segment of our program is former U.S. Olympic coach and current Big East Commissioner Dave Gavitt. And Dave, first off, your thoughts as we enter the 8th year of the Big East Conference.
I think without a doubt, perhaps the most competitive year up front that we have looked at, and I think the most difficult year to predict, Mike. There are so many young players that are going to be relied upon by the teams this year, and I see any one of 6 teams that could win the conference, and it wouldn't surprise me regular season to see 11-5 take it all.
Okay, let's take a run through the Big East right now and get your thoughts on each team. Let's start off with St. John's.
St. John's is solid, steady. I think teams reflect their coach's personality. St. John's is going to keep it simple and do it very well. As always, they have good athletes, and I think they'll be a very good offensive rebounding team.
How about Georgetown?
Again, reflecting the coach's personality, intensity is what comes to mind. They have excellent athletes. They play with great intensity. I think they make people play up to their intensity level. Once again, they'll play the entire court defensively. And I think the big question with the Hoyas is, can they rebound well enough to be nationally prominent?
P.J. Carlissimo's club, Seton Hall.
Seton Hall has clearly better athletes this year than at any time since the Big East started. It's a real credit to PJ and his staff, but winning begets winning, and I think the key with Seton Hall is they need a couple of early conference wins to try to get them off the mark.
Syracuse.
Syracuse, year in and year out, has the best offensive motion, perhaps, of anybody in the league, as good as anybody in the country. The problem Syracuse has faced is there's so much pressure on them all the time because of the incredible interest in their program by their fans. I think that maybe this will be a year that the pressure won't be quite as great, and I look for Syracuse to be very pleasantly surprising.
Providence College.
Well, I think Providence is one of the 2 real dark horses in the league. So much was accomplished last year in Rick Pitino's first year. I think his teams know his system now. He's got good recruits coming in. I think Providence College is going to be a real force in the upper division of the race this year.
One of the Big East schools with a new coach, the University of Connecticut.
Jim Calhoun, the new coach, is a guy that has had great success, and he just bristles energy. And I think that his teams have always taken on that energy level. It's a very high energy level, and I suspect that his Connecticut team will play that way. They're going to have to, because they're going to be a bit outmanned.
Villanova.
Villanova last year, I think, might have been one of the biggest overachievers in the country, certainly in the East. And I think that this year they might be in a position to do the same thing with a little better talent. The freshman players at Villanova are darn good, and if they come through for Rolly Massimino, Villanova is going to be a real force.
And finally, 2 schools again with new coaches. First, Pittsburgh.
Again, teams take on the coach's personalities. Paul Evans is a no-nonsense guy. Charles Smith and Jerome Lane had great summers internationally. I think with Evans' philosophy, and if Curtis Aiken comes through in the backcourt, Pitt, I think in many coaches' minds, is going to be hammering away at the top spot.
And finally, again, a new coach, Jim O'Brien, up at Boston College.
Well, Jim O'Brien returns to his alma mater, where he was a great player and a great competitor. And although people are not picking BC very high because of a front court depth problem, don't be surprised if Jim O'Brien's competitiveness doesn't put him in real tough with a lot of teams in this league.
The Panthers lead it by 6 points at halftime. This is Bill Hillgrove. We'll be back with Dr. Ed Bozick right after this.
Since the very beginning, mankind has worshipped the sun. And in eastern sunny Caribbean, they still do. Eastern, we're the one to the sun.
This is Wile E. Coyote. He's been trying to catch that guy for years. What makes him think he can now? Ah, the Donnelly Directory. It's not the same old yellow pages. It's maps, guides, and coupons. It's a complete, colorful yellow pages that's better and easier to use. Won't he ever learn? Oh, no. Good thinking. The Donnelly Directory. That was close. The Donnelly Directory. It's a better yellow pages and much, much more.
It is a place to explore the mysteries of nature and the nature of man. A place to marvel at the genius of Monet, Van Gogh, Cassatt, Carnegie Institute, a tribute to man's innate desire to know his world and himself. From the artifacts of man's survival to the survival of man's art, Carnegie Institute is one great performance. Pittsburgh National. We're a bank that believes in performance.
All aboard! Step right up, folks, for the greatest, tiniest show on earth. It's the one and only miniature railroad in Village. Now at Buell Science Center through March 1st. Come see all your favorite animations from days gone by.
Hey, there's the lady walking her baby.
And dozens of new ones, sure to fascinate kids of all ages.
Oh, look at that one.
So hey, don't miss the train. Visit today. Call 321-4300 for hours.
Rubik, you've done it again!
I'm gonna get you, Rubik!
It's Rubik's Magic Puzzle, the new challenge from the incredible Erno Rubik.
The cube was easy. I dare you to link the rings.
I did it!
You didn't do it right.
Rubik's Magic. Pick it up. You'll never put it down.
Oh, I can't put it down.
I can't put it down. Can you, Abe?
Rubik's Magic Puzzle. New from Matchbox. You'll never put it down.
Give me that back.
It's my turn now.
Come on.
Capacity crowd of almost 6,800 watching the Panthers take a 6-point lead at halftime. It's 30-24, Pitt leading West Virginia. It's our pleasure to talk to Pitt Athletic Director Dr. Edward Bozick. Dr. Bozick, your reaction personally to the arrival of Paul Evans on the scene here at Pitt.
Well, Bill, I'd like to say I was a wise old silver fox and had that one all planned out. Paul has just done a great job for us and really is exactly what we were looking for in a coach. You know, it's kind of interesting, the resemblance between the way Paul approaches his job and Mike Gottfried approaches his. They're gentlemen with integrity, with intelligence, and they know the game. And they also believe in strong discipline.
Back in 1982, when Pitt announced it was joining the Big East, Dave Gavitt, the commissioner, said, in a couple of years, the rarest thing in Pittsburgh will be a Pitt basketball ticket. How true his prophecy has turned out to be.
Indeed it has, Bill. If you can tell from tonight and from this season, we're sold out here at the Fieldhouse. And the only opportunity our fans are going to have to see our Pitt Panthers here play will either be on television or at the Civic Arena in January and February, play Georgetown and Syracuse.
You've got those games coming up at the Civic Arena, and are tickets going well? Do you expect sellouts there?
Well, they're going well. We have tickets remaining, and we expect to sell out, but we hope our fans will get out and buy them up now while they have a chance.
In the future, do you ever see Pitt basketball playing increasingly more games at the Civic Arena?
Well, that's possible, Bill. Obviously, we want to have our fans to be able to see as many games as possible. There may be a happy day come when we'll look at another Fitzgerald Fieldhouse up here.
How far down the road may that day lie?
About 2 Final Fours away, Bill.
How long?
2 Final Fours away.
You're still a silver fox as far as I'm concerned. Dr. Bozick, thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill.
All right, Dr. Edward Bozick, the Director of Athletics at the University of Pittsburgh. Panthers lead by 6 over West Virginia at halftime. We'll be back to the Fieldhouse right after this commentary.
Is this one of them Japanese imports?
Hi, Colt Premier.
Mitsubishi-built Colt Premier. It's fun to drive.
Oh, Tamashina.
Has the boost of optional turbo. It's luxurious. And imported only for Chrysler, Plymouth, and Dodge dealers. Colt.
Sayonara.
It's all the Japanese you need to know.
Is that Japanese?
It's Tokyo in Japan.
Huh?
There's something special cooking at Eden Park. Always has been.
It's a Big East bonanza at the Civic Arena when Pitt hosts Georgetown on January 10th and Syracuse on February 9th. Good tickets are still available. It's a great chance for Pittsburgh sports fans to see Paul Evans and his exciting Panthers square off against the cream of the Big East crop. Call the Pitt ticket office and order by phone with Visa or MasterCard. But hurry, these games will likely be sellouts. That's Pitt Georgetown on January 10th and Pitt Syracuse on February 9th. Big East basketball at its finest at the Civic Arena.
In a city full of sports, one team covers the best. Channel 4's Front Four. You'll get the scores from people who not only talk a good game,
I want to see if I can still get the job,
but are really into the game. They'll bring you close to the action where you can feel the pressure, see the sweat. And when the game's over and the hard questions begin, the Front Four really goes to work. For a little lift or a big win, wherever sports happens, the Front Four will be there.
Action News is everywhere.
Big East basketball is brought to you by Piedmont, serving more cities in the East than any other airline. And by Chrysler Motors, the official car and truck of the Big East, and your local Chrysler, Plymouth, and Dodge dealers. And by Avis Rent-A-Car, the official rental car of the Big East Conference. The Pitt Panthers lead West Virginia 30-24 at halftime. And let's take a look at some of the stats that certainly tell the story as to what's gone on here in the first 20 minutes of play. West Virginia, a poor shooting night, and they're still in the basketball game. They've shot 25%. In the rebound department, Ronnie Perry, West Virginia has more than held its own.
That's right. It's been even there, but with 25% shooting, you'd expect that Pitt would be much further ahead. However, the rebounding stats, they have 11 of their 18 rebounds the Mountaineers do as offensive rebounds, which they've been able to convert. Free throws, not too much of a difference. Turnovers, though, 11 turnovers. There was some good pressure by West Virginia that they were able to convert on. And I think that's the reason why we have a 6-point game at the half. And 30-24, as we mentioned, is really the tempo that West Virginia likes.
They're the Mountaineers scoring leaders. Darrell Prue, the sophomore forward, 12 points. He's committed 2 personal fouls. Yearwood was only 3 for 12 in the shooting department first half. That hurt the Mountaineers.
West Virginia didn't have a good perimeter game, and the guards didn't shoot at all from the perimeter.
They're the Panthers, led by Jerome Lane. Gore has 5, Aiken has 5, and the big story is the fact that defensively the Mountaineers have held Charles Smith to just 2 points in the first half.
And he picked up the couple of personal fouls, but he has 3 to work with in the second half.
The ball deflected, so Goodson is permitted to go backcourt to get it. And the Panthers, on alternate possession, go to work, started the second half. Pitt on a 6-point lead, 19:46 remaining. And a great block by Pinckney on Lane, but then Kroll stepped out of bounds.
I was just about to say the best part of that block, as far as Gail Catlett was concerned, was that the Mountaineers were going to be able to maintain possession. However, you'll see Kroll go after this ball that's blocked by Pinckney inside, and he steps on the out-of-bounds line on the side.
Goodson goes to work for the Panthers. Lane on the baseline to Gore. Demetrius Gore ups the Panther lead to 8 points.
The minutes that Gore set out in the first half, too, I think bothered the Panthers, particularly against the pressure.
They felt his absence, no doubt about it, and they felt it sharply. Number 24 is Darrell Prue. Number 14 out front is J.J. Kroll for the Mountaineers. Number 4, Steve Berger. Pinckney has the ball pop up, goes to the right-handed hook shot, and here comes Gore with a rebound. Panthers with a 3-on-3. Pinckney clears the miss, and here come the Mountaineers counterattacking. Kroll decided to wheel it out of there because too many white shirts had dropped back.
Transition basketball. Pitt wanting to run in this contest, but you can see Kroll, their game plan is to settle it down and try to work that ball in the paint, and they've really stuck with that game plan.
Darrell Prue looking inside, but Yearwood wasn't open. Panthers in that 2-3 zone. Wide open is Berger, and that's his first field goal, and it's 32-26.
Well, sooner or later, West Virginia had to go to their outside game to try to loosen things up inside. Berger had the answer there.
The Panthers, Goodson does a good job of leaping across the timeline to avoid the turnover.
Might have got away with one there. Smith looked like he was in the front court and dumped it to the back court. Might have got away with the back court.
Gore gets open on the baseline and takes advantage of the clear-out move by Smith.
He can really get up off his feet and just jump over some bigger people inside.
Kroll has to go high up the ladder to pull down the ball for West Virginia. Darryl Prue getting away from Gore. Nice move, Darryl Prue.
Excellent move by Prue, and we're seeing more and more versatility across the country with the 6'7", 6'8" forwards that can fake, that can move, and that can shoot the jumper.
14 points, Darryl Prue. West Virginia trails by 6. Lane out of a trap. Now the Panthers have the extra man. But Curtis Aiken can't take advantage as West Virginia recovers quickly. Charles Smith open and missing the hook shot but getting the foul. I think he thought about slamming that ball home, and then he's probably heard a voice saying, Charles, lay it up there.
He felt the pressure inside. I think he wanted to go to the soft hook. Good look by Aiken. Smith really gave him a good passing lane inside. And all night long, Smith has had bodies around him. That time, Pinckney and Prue inside, but he's able to draw the foul. And he's playing really within himself, despite the fact it has been very tough going getting the ball.
Charles' first trip to the foul line tonight. His third point, and it's 35-28 at the 17:24 mark.
Pitt's two top leading scorers, Charles Smith and Curtis Aiken, have found the going tough in terms of getting their shots off in this one.
West Virginia, one of the outstanding defensive clubs in the country.
Little pressure by Goodson and Aiken in the backcourt, extending the 2-3, but they'll drop back into that zone, and they'll try to get two shooters, but they're being very active out of the zone.
Panthers stretching that 2-3 out a little bit more than they did earlier.
They don't want to just sit back flat-footed. It tends to get the defense a lot livelier and get you into your game.
Pitt by 8 points. 17 minutes remaining. J.J. Kroll from three-point range. First one of those tonight for West Virginia.
Well, we said the backcourt players had to start looking for it, and Berger and Kroll have both taken shots now from the outside.
Whistle on the play, and they call a foul on the reach-in by West Virginia. Jerome Lane made the mistake of putting it back down on the court again. Once you retrieve that loose ball, you got to make sure you have it.
Have it, and you really protect it. And Lane's strong enough to do it. J.J. Kroll reaching in, picking up his second personal.
At 16:44, the Panthers go to work. Smith getting loose. Prue tried to cover him, but a fine pass from the outside.
Found the lane somehow, and Charles Smith getting a couple of lanes inside. Catlett has been doing an excellent job, though, having his big people surround Charles Smith inside.
Another fine assist for Demetrius.
Good look. Very good look.
Panthers by 7, 38-31. Yearwood has the pass intercepted by Aiken. Pitt with a 3-on-3. Goodson. Gore on the baseline. Nothing but Gore to the Panthers, leading by 9.
Gore's the spark plug starting off this second half. 3 field goals. Really came ready to play after picking up the third personal in the first half.
And didn't we say at the outset that the Panther keys tonight would be Goodson and Gore?
Goodson ran the break beautifully there. Gore finished off. The 2 ingredients you need.
Nice drive, but Smith blocks Berger's attempt, and here come the Panthers.
Did he
Gore on 1. Goodson. Gore. And there'll be no technical because he was saving himself from physical abuse and harm.
And did he get up on that one? Demetrius Gore is having a good time starting out this second half, and that brought the crowd, the 6th man, into this ball game.
Gail Catlett says we got to hold this freight train down here. He calls time. The Panthers lead by 11. Back to the Fieldhouse in a moment.
Captain Al here tells me I got a real good shot at a 600-pound marlin. I better, because he's charging me an arm and a leg for the privilege. But with Piedmont's low winter fares, I figure I've already saved a bundle. So whether you want to go deep-sea fishing in Florida or ice fishing in Minnesota, just call Piedmont. Hey, with fares this low, you won't catch me sitting around this winter. Whoa! You okay? Hey, you know the water's great this time of year?
He's gonna love it.
As long as we're not late for the meeting.
This is gonna whiz us right there.
We got a red hot express. We got a red hot crew. We got a red hot crew. We got super value rates. We try harder to. Avis, we're red hot for you.
I love it. But what's it gonna cost?
Don't worry, we'll give you a super value rate.
Avis, red hot.
15:26 left. Pitt has its biggest lead so far, 11 points. And here's some of the action that led to the big lead.
Defense always keys good offense. Let's take a look at Pitt's big man inside. He's all over the place. He's got great timing, great anticipation, and that's really an outlet pass there on the block shot. And the result at the other end is what you call finishing it off. And Demetrius Gore, he's been all over the court in the second half. That's his 4th field goal in the second half. He's got 13 in the game.
Now Gail Catlett continues an extended animated conversation with referee Gene Monge of the Big East.
Both coaches have really been in this ball game as well as the players. They're working the officials.
I love that phrase. The coach gets into the ball game. That's so polite, it scares you.
They feel like they've played a game after it's over, too, I'm sure.
Pitt by 11, West Virginia trying to counter now at the 15-14 mark. We're in the second half. Darrell Brew uses a glass beautifully.
He's got 16 in the game, and he's been the offensive weapon for the Mountaineers. Goes right for that shot that time over Charles Smith.
Curtis Aiken has a big crowd, and they strip the ball, but they call the foul on Kroll. That's his 3rd. Kroll not real pleased with a call by referee Gene Monge. At 14:52, Pitt leading by 9. Team foul second half. Pitt has not committed. West Virginia has 3.
Kroll picking up his 3rd. We could see Tyrone Shaw come back into the game, or we could see Herbie Brook.
Michael Goodson with the pass. Charles Smith with the rim jam.
Listen to the crowd on that one. That's just a timing play. Michael Goodson laid it way up there for Smith, and he sent it down. What timing? Crowd loves it.
14 minutes, 30 seconds left. Pitt now again by 11. And West Virginia will have to try to handle the 6th man. Lane keeps it alive for the Panthers on the steal. Goodson back to Gore. Demetrius hanging Pinckney up. He doesn't get the field goal, but he gets the 3rd foul on Darrell Pinckney.
Wow, the crowd got excited. It's no surprise since Pitt joined the Big East that they've won 2 games and lost 2 games against West Virginia. Both teams enjoying the home court. And when Fitzgerald gets going like that, it's like another player on the court for the Panthers.
Demetrius Gore in the basketball game, 13 points, 8 in the second half. We've only played 5 minutes and 46 seconds as he misses a foul shot.
The other thing I'm noticing is that the Panthers are really getting confidence in Goodson. When the break presents itself, they look for him. They get it to him to run the break. He's made good decisions in this game for the most part, getting it to shooters.
Gore makes amends, and it's 45-33. The Panthers have a 12-point lead, their biggest of the night.
Pitt staying in the 2-3 zone. West Virginia not looking for the outside shot too much with Berger and Kroll, as you see right there. They'll try to get it inside to Prue if they can.
Yearwood. Gore with the rebound. Launching the fast break. The ball popped loose, so he wisely waits for his guards to come out. And he can't see Mike Goodson, so he goes inside. And the ball is slapped out on a fine defensive play by Darrell Brew.
Well, the only way that Prue could have done that was to get all ball. The officials feel that he did get all ball on this play. Great look inside. Gore finds him. Well, he did get a lot of ball. Might have caught a little arm, but he definitely caught a lot of that ball.
But the key is, he got arm or did he get hand? Hand is part of the ball, right?
Yeah, that's right, Billy. It's very tough to tell from that angle.
Demetrius Gore continues to light up the lights, and the Panthers lead by 14.
Mild term might be to say that Gore has been a catalyst in this second half. Always important to come out of the chute quickly in the second half. They missed his presence in the first half. All of a sudden, they're handling the pressure better, and their offense looked better with him in there.
No doubt it. He's been the linchpin. Shaw. Over Smith. Nice move, Tyrone Shaw.
He's right into the game. He's looking for his shot. That looks a little bit like the play he made in the first half. 3-quarter court pressure by West Virginia. 2-2-1 style. They'll look to trap.
Curtis Aiken from 3-point range. His second of the night. And the Panthers lead by 15.
Aiken takes what he gets. He hasn't been able to get too many open shots. That one wasn't that open, but he nailed it.
12 minutes, 45 seconds left. The Panthers have not committed a foul in the second half so far.
And they're really shooting the ball well in this second half.
Steve Berger, the freshman. Goodson tipped it out of there. Great pass by Lane. Demetrius Gore. And the Fieldhouse erupts. That is Steve Berger at the other end, and here comes Eric Semish getting ready to come in on the next buzzer. 52-37, the Panthers by 15. Curtis Aiken.
Wow, the Panthers are red hot in this second half. Demetrius Gore, Curtis Aiken getting into the act. Charles Smith has had a couple of dunks, and Mike Goodson has been the architect from the point guard position.
The Panthers lead by 14 points. Did I say 14? I meant 17. It's 54-37. And here come two West Virginia substitutions. Number 14, J.J. Kroll. Number 34, Eric Semish, taking the place of Darryl Pinckney and Wayne Yearwood.
Into the game for the Mountaineers, number 34, Eric Semish, and number 14, J.J.
Charles Smith has committed his third personal foul at the 11:45 mark. And so for Smith now, he joins Gore in foul difficulty. Pinckney and Kroll each have 3 for West Virginia as Shaw toes the line. 54-38.
Shaw has very good shooting rotation from the foul line. Gets the ball across the seams. Good follow through. He's going to be a player that'll put some points up for Gail Catlett.
And we'll have a stoppage of play. 11 minutes, 45 seconds left. The Panthers lead it by 15 points. We'll be back to the Fieldhouse in a moment.
Imagine there is a magnificent estate where the owners enjoy an occasional ballet, or opera, a winter sleigh ride, even some cool jazz on a warm summer night. This is Heartwood Acres, and the owners, they're the 1.5 million residents of Allegheny County. Heartwood Acres is one great performance we all can enjoy. Pittsburgh National. We're a bank that believes in performance.
The special lift you get this Christmas lasts all year long. Merry Christmas from Eaton Park.
There's a Big East Freshman of the Week, the Plymouth Freshman of the Week, Tate George, a fine 6'4" freshman guard for Connecticut from Scotch Plains, New Jersey. 10 assists in his last outing. Ronnie Perry, you've seen him play. He's outstanding.
He has a lot of poise for UConn. They're playing with limited bench strength this year. He's averaging 40-plus minutes a game. He's over the 40-minute mark because they've played some overtime. He handles the pressure very well. And I think he's a very good addition for Jim Calhoun's club at the University of Connecticut.
For the Panthers, Charles Smith continues to play with 3 fouls, as does Demetrius Gore. For West Virginia, Kroll hangs in with 3. Aiken has the shot blocked by Shaw. Last touched out by Holmes. West Virginia, the ball belongs to Pitt at 11:30. Pitt leading by 15 points.
It's a box setup on the out-of-bounds play.
Charles Smith doing a good job handling the basketball. Lane from about 20 feet. Nice job by Aiken, but he lost the basketball, and the ball is knocked out by West Virginia.
Very interesting that time. The ball was inbounded by Aiken, and as it was swung around the court, Aiken tried to screen for Smith to come in for the dunk. Very nice try for the alley-oop.
Charles Smith back to Aiken, the trigger man.
Good luck.
Back to Smith. What a body control exhibition by Charles Smith.
Talk about versatility. There it is for a 6'10" kid to hang in midair, double pump. He looked like a guard.
Now we got the ball out of bounds on the sideline. Last touch by Pitt. It belongs to West Virginia. 11 minutes, 2 seconds left. Herbie Brooks checks into the game for West Virginia. 6'2" sophomore replaces Steve Berger as the point guard.
Charles Smith was so terrific last summer with the World Championships, the U.S. team, that really asserted himself as one of the premier big people in the country for a lot of people to see.
Darryl Prue in the corner for West Virginia. Now Shaw wheeling and dealing. Threw it up there, and it won't go. And Smith clears, and here come the Panthers. They've got a 4-on-2. Demetrius Gore with a hand in his face.
Hand in his face. He lost control of the ball. When the going is good, you just want to let it go, and Gore has that touch right now.
The Panthers by their biggest margin, 19 points, 10 minutes, 25 seconds left. Eric Semish. Smith with a rejection.
Another one.
Jerome Lane up the sideline. To Aiken. Aiken in traffic.
Pitt is getting whatever it wants right now. They're playing good defense. West Virginia has come unglued on the offensive end. Pitt, as a result, is controlling the tempo and opening this thing up. Another timeout by Gail Catlett. He just wants to settle his team down right now as this game is really being opened up.
We're midway through the first half at the Fieldhouse. Much to the delight of the crowd, the Panthers very much in charge.
I see golden times are near. Feel it coming, want my beer. Now this is living, now feeling fine. Get your golden, I got mine. Yeah, I got my gang, got my beer. I see golden times are here.
Icy Golden, brewed fresh and natural for a smooth and golden taste.
Yeah, I got my gang, got my beer. I see golden times are here.
This is Wile E. Coyote. He's been trying to catch that guy for years. What makes him think he can now? Ah, the Donnelly Directory. It's not the same old yellow pages. It's maps, guides, and emergency information. It's a complete, colorful yellow pages that's better and easier to use. Won't he ever learn? Oh, no. Good thinking. The Donnelly Directory. That was close. The Donnelly Directory. It's a better yellow pages and much, much more.
The Panthers lead 60-39 over the Mountaineers.
Well, Charles Smith has been dominant in this ball game, getting the feed inside. Looks like a backcourt player right here. Bailey gets control of it, hangs in midair, and he's able to put it in there like a 6'1" backcourt player. But remember, he's 6'10".
The Plymouth player of the game will be selected at the conclusion of tonight's ball game and during every televised game in the Big East Conference Television Network this year as part of the Chrysler Corporation sponsorship of Big East basketball. Any speculation?
Well, if I had to have a leading candidate right now, Bill, it would have to be Demetrius Gore. 20 points. He's got 15, though, in the first half of this second half, which has really vaulted the Pitt Panthers into a 21-point lead.
The Mountaineers go to work down by 19 points. Yearwood, who's had an off night shooting. That's hurt the Mountaineers. Semish works the corner. Brooks is at the point. Semish from Ambler, Pennsylvania, the Philadelphia area. Yearwood getting open. And Pinckney had the inside position, but he apparently pushed to get there. Mickey Crowley, the lead official, said that Pinckney was guilty of pushing, and that is Pinckney's fourth foul. That certainly hurts the Mountaineer cause.
Yearwood just can't seem to find the range from the perimeter. As you look at Pinckney, who committed his fourth, Gail Catlett will leave him out there and just let it all hang out right now, down by 21 points.
Team fouls now. West Virginia has 5. The Panthers have 1 here in the second half. Pitt trying to up its 21-point lead.
West Virginia has gone man-to-man now. They're matching up.
Ball deflected twice by West Virginia, and here come the Mountaineers. Yearwood. Nice job between the legs around Aiken. Herbie Brooks looping it over Charles Smith. He knew he had to do that.
Transition by West Virginia, and they'll need more of that kind of quick basketball to get themselves close in this game. And remember, we do have the three-point shot in college basketball, Bill. And against Illinois, when Pitt was down by 19 or 18 points in that game, Curtis Aiken went wild with the three-pointer, and they almost pulled it out.
Including one 28-footer that we showed you at the top of the game. Outstanding range for Curtis Aiken. Gore has it slightly blocked by Pinckney, and it goes off a Panther hand out of bounds. Good defensive play for Darrell Pinckney, even though he's got 4 fouls.
Well, he's staying right in there with that one and felt that he could get away with the reach without picking up his fifth.
Now Crawl will direct traffic.
Still a lot of time left in this game, but West Virginia has to look for whatever turns itself up fairly quickly without chewing up too much time off the clock.
Three-pointer by Crawl. Easy rebound for Lane. The Panthers 2-on-1. Demetrius Gore pulling up on the jumper, and Yearwood clearing the miss, and here come the Mountaineers.
Well, he was due for a miss. He hasn't missed one in a while.
8 minutes remaining. The Mountaineers trying to get back into it. Pinckney missing. Gore fouled him. That's 4 on Gore.
Brooken into the game. Paul Evans will give Gore a rest so that he can still get some productive minutes out of him.
And Evans is hoping that, unlike the first half, that Gore's absence is not so vastly detected.
No, that's right. Brooken played well, but the team as a whole seemed to lose their confidence against the pressure without Gore.
Alley-oop, fine pass from Kroll, and Pinckney took care of the rest, and West Virginia cuts it to 17.
Excellent timing play. We saw one earlier to Charles Smith. That time, Kroll to Pinckney worked.
Brooken, good move on the baseline. Rod Brooken, the freshman from Steelton High Spire. 62-43, and for Brooken now, his second field goal in 6 points.
He's a good-looking freshman.
Panthers leading it by 19 points at the 7:25 mark, second half. Kroll, J.J. Kroll working the point outside to Brooks. And Brooks showing good shooting range, makes it 62-45.
Brooks can shoot it, and the Mountaineers will need more of that as this game continues to wind down.
Brooks, 4 points, all 4 in the second half. The Panthers, we have a foul as Yearwood reaches in on Brooken. No, they call it on Pinckney. And Pinckney has exited the basketball game. That's 2 years in a row that Darryl Pinckney has fouled out against the Panthers. He fouls out at 6:59 remaining and leads with 2 points.
Team 6.
He battled all night long inside. He was doing a good job fronting Charles Smith in the first half, but it got the better of him as he picked up personal fouls and never really got involved down low offensively.
Darryl Pinckney, the 6'9" senior from Middletown, New York, grew up in South Carolina, in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. He's gone. Curtis Aiken trying to open things up from the corner. It's not there, so he brings it back outside to Mike Goodson with the Panthers leading by 17, and now they got the clock in their favor. Rod Brooken. Lane couldn't get the tip to go, and now we got a whistle on the play. And who has the foul? West Virginia has the foul. Now they're going to contradict one another. The foul is on Pitt. That won't please Paul Evans. Mickey Crowley, the trail official, saying to Evans, sit down, I'll call the fouls. And you heard Evans say nobody touched him. I didn't hear the rest of that comment. I don't think I wanted to.
The Gene Monge had a foul. It looked like Eric Semish on the baseline, but he was overruled by Mickey on that play.
Panthers by 17. West Virginia trying to fight their way back in, and Yearwood had it pop up. Aiken bothered him, and now they say that Yearwood last touched it. The officials agree on that call.
It's tough to coach quickness. You can't really coach that to a player. That's an instinctive thing, and Aiken really showed it there.
Tough to coach height.
That's right.
How about that?
There it is. There's height
for you. 64-45, and for Charles Smith, 12 points, 10 of them in the second half.
He's patiently waited for the opportunities to present themselves, and I really think he's played within himself in this game.
Now we could have a pretty good contest for player of the game because Gore is on the Panther bench and Smith has very much taken charge.
He sure has, but Gore really keyed the outburst and was the spark plug that has led to the big advantage right now that Pitt is enjoying.
Yearwood from downtown. Brooken on the rebound. Panthers by 19, trying to get it back to 21 for the second time. Goodson way across court to Aiken. Trying to shake J.J. Kroll, can't do it. Kroll showing good quickness. Aiken tries again, this time over Brooks. And what a comeback we have underneath, and this time the Panthers are guilty of the foul. Somebody came down on somebody's back.
I think it was Jerome Lane.
No, they called it on Rod Brooken.
A lot of bodies were crashing in on the weak side. It was Brooken and Lane, and bodies were bouncing off them.
Let's put it this way. Brooken had one of the fouls on that play.
The first one, I guess.
5:17 remaining. The Panthers very much in command. Neither team in the bonuses yet. Panthers one foul away from the 1-and-1. Not that that is a factor at this particular moment.
West Virginia wishes they could call on Jerry West or Hot Rod Hundley or Rod Thorne at this point.
Well, they call on J.J. Kroll. J.J. Kroll, whose steal and fast break layup against Oregon State several years ago in the NCAAs is one of the bright moments in Mountaineer history. How about Lowe's Moore from the outside?
Another great one. Greg Jones could shoot it up. Dale Blaney. They've really had a great history history of backcourt players at West Virginia.
Herbie Brooks bumped into Jerome Lane. That is Brooks' first personal, but that's team foul number 7, and the Panthers are in the 1-and-1. Gore is back in for the Panthers.
Foul is on number 32, Herbie Brooks, his first. Team 7 into the game for the Panthers, Demetrius Gore. At the foul line, Jerome Lane, 1-and-1.
This is a very quick Pittsburgh team. They've looked to run when they've had the opportunity. If Goodson can fill the bill at the point, and Charles Smith does a super job in the middle with Cooper helping out, Pitt could be very strong this year as they go along, and they just have to keep those players out of foul trouble, Bill.
That's the key, and that's why Paul Evans has worked very hard on conditioning this Panther squad, because he knows it's got to be 7 guys that play the bulk of the conference game.
Probably like to play some more man-to-man defense, but that tends to put your players into foul trouble, so he'll try to disguise it, mix it in at different spots, and keep the bulk of his 7 players on there most of the time.
West Virginia's been to the line 15 times. The Panthers have been there 14. West Virginia is 10 of 15, and the Panthers are 10 of 14. And now Paul Evans decides to say, hey, for the remaining 4:35, I don't care what the score is, I want you guys to look like a basketball team, and that is one of Evans' secrets. He's on them every single moment. Pitt in command. We'll be back.
Pacific Arena on Monday, January 12th, and $6 reserve seat tickets.
In 1969, man flew farther than ever before.
So are you, Houston.
But as far as flying has come, it still has a long way to go, especially flying to many smaller cities back home. At Piedmont, we fly to places other major airlines don't, linking the smaller cities with the bigger cities over 1,000 times a day. Because Piedmont believes a trip here shouldn't feel like you're making a trip there.
Is this one of them Japanese imports?
Hi, Colt Premier.
Mitsubishi built Colt Premier. It's fun to drive.
Oh, Tomoshina.
Has the boost of optional turbo. It's luxurious. And imported only for Chrysler, Plymouth, and Dodge dealers. Colt.
Sayonara.
It's all the Japanese you need to know.
Is that Japanese?
It's Tokyo in Japan.
Huh?
The Panthers lead at 66-48 here at the Fieldhouse, and we have had a total of 13 points scored in the last 5 minutes by both clubs. The Panthers have 6 of those. West Virginia has 7. We've had a kind of a sloppy 5-minute period here.
It's been a funny game of spurts, really, as you see the Mountaineer for West Virginia.
I'm glad he hasn't fired that musket tonight.
That's for sure.
Because that thing can be devastating. If you're not ready for it, it's awesome.
You're out of your seat.
Out of your seat and on the floor. The top of your head comes off. A lot of things happen. 4 minutes, 30 seconds left. West Virginia down by 18 points.
Meat coming over, Meat.
Charles Smith with a rebound.
Quick outlet.
The Panthers in transition. A blocking foul against West Virginia, and the field goal will count.
Transition basketball. Pitt has looked for it where they could. Look at Jerome Lane. He saw Aiken alone. Good basket by Aiken. And they feel that Brooks slid underneath him as he left his feet. Didn't plant before he left for his flight.
Did not give him the opportunity to naturally come down to a spot on the floor, and that constitutes a foul. First time in for West Virginia. John Miller, a 6'5" freshman from Baltimore's Mount St. Joseph High School. His father, John Miller, was a pitcher for the Baltimore Orioles back in the 1960s, and he's very proud of his dad's World Series ring.
Comes from good stock.
High jumper, 6'11", outstanding.
Got to set him up for the alley-oop.
West Virginia throws it away. Brooks' pass for Shaw was too far ahead of him, and West Virginia turns it over, down by 21 for the 3rd time in the basketball game.
West Virginia back to their pressure, 2-2-1 style, to try to make that last-ditch effort and go for the 3-point field goal.
Gore with a great pass to Aiken. Aiken looking for Smith. They've got him double-teamed, and back outside it comes. Good steal by Brooks. Here come the Mountaineers. Miller and Brooks. Miller. He charged. No basket. Gail Catlett just wryly smiles as Paul Evans shakes his head at the other end.
So on this one, John Miller goes to the goal. Let's see if Mike Goodson is able to plant his feet. Looks like he did get his feet set, and then there was contact before the shot was released, so that Miller does not get credit for that basket. That took excellent defensive quickness with your feet to get that done. Gail Catlett doesn't agree with the call, though.
I was going to say, I'll give him time for rebuttal. I think we'll have an interesting point-counterpoint.
That was a close one.
Panthers by 21 with 3:40 remaining. Overplaying Shaw, and they nail Shaw for the foul. He reached around a little too far that time. Tyrone Shaw from San Jacinto Junior College. One of 3 junior college players on the West Virginia squad. The others being Kirk Seeley, a 6'4 junior from Jacksonville, Texas Junior College, who has not seen action tonight. And, of course, Wayne Yearwood, the 6'7 junior from Montreal, who went to community college at Jamestown, New York. Panthers have 1 junior college transfer, and that's Tico Cooper. As Lane goes to the line.
You know, as I look at some of those replays, it goes to show you how tough it is for the officials with live action with these quick players, as Lane misses his second free throws, to make that split-second call. We look at it, we look at the replay and analyze it, and we're still kind of debating it, so it's very tough for them.
I'll get the crowd standing up on the far side. His television camera over there trying to do a stand-up or something, and the crowd reacted. They want to get into the act. The long shot by Yearwood is missed, but then Gore knocked it out of bounds, and the ball belongs to West Virginia. Demetrius Gore. I don't think there's any question about the identity of our player of the game. We'll tell you that for sure in a moment.
He's been the real spark plug.
Junior from Detroit Chadsey High School.
Mr. Basketball in Michigan a few years ago as a senior in high school.
That is quite an honor because Michigan annually produces a lot of great basketball talent.
Now, we have some great players on this court. When you think of the things these kids were doing in high school and how they have to mold their talents in the college level.
Ron Perry, I bet you haven't heard Demetrius Rapp as Yearwood hits the three-pointer. Wayne Yearwood, his first three-pointer of the night, his 9th point, which is just about 7 points below his average, and it's 70-51.
The way to get the ball to the middle against pressure. In this ball game, whenever Pitt's been able to do that, very rarely have they been in danger of turning the ball over.
Have you heard Gore's rap yet about the Pitt team? Pitt on the rise.
No, I haven't.
Oh, you got to hear it. It's a classic. We played it last week on the pregame show and repeated it on the Channel 4 Action News Tuesday night. But Demetrius Gore, quite a poet. Here comes Jerome Lane. The glass is not kind, and Shaw clears a rebound for West Virginia. Brooks to Miller. Brooks just inside the three-point range. It's a two-pointer, but a nice shot by Herbie Brooks. 70-53.
Herbie has shown that he can come off the bench and score some points for Gail Catlett with a good outside shooting touch.
Brooks has 6 all in the second half. Ball kicked out by West Virginia's Herbie Brooks. Shot clock recycled. Panthers with 1:54 have things well in hand.
I thought West Virginia was very fortunate at the half, shooting 25% from the field to be only 6 points down. They continued cold shooting in the second half, and it caught up with them because Pitt did a better job defensively and on the boards. And with the help of Demetrius Gore, we're able to open this thing up.
Panthers can take their time. Shot clock is at 33 as Goodson and Aiken work it outside. Obviously, Paul Evans says use the clock a little bit. Panthers well in command. West Virginia will suffer its first loss of the year, but I get the suspicion West Virginia will be a strong factor in the chase for the Atlantic 10 flag. They certainly are an outstanding defensive club. Tonight, I think Yearwood and his shooting did not help matters. Daryl Pinckney, as you pointed out, never really got into the flow, and those 2 factors, plus a lack of scoring from the guards, and Gail Catlett was hard-pressed to try to get a lead here. I think he only had 1.
No matter how much strategy you have, Bill, if you're not shooting the ball well, particularly on the road, it's very difficult to win.
Panthers by 17. We'll be back to the Fieldhouse after this.
The American work ethic. It's when what you do isn't a job. It's a commitment. It's working by a standard, not by a clock. It's when the toughest standards are your own. The work ethic built a nation, and today it's building an airline. Last year, Piedmont gained passengers 10 times faster than the largest airline in the country, and our service record was ranked #1. The work ethic. It's alive and well at Piedmont Airlines.
This one of them Japanese imports?
Hi, Colt Premier.
Mitsubishi built Colt Premier. It's fun to drive.
Oh, Tomashina.
Has the boost of optional turbo. It's luxurious. And imported only for Chrysler, Plymouth, and Dodge dealers. Colt.
Sayonara.
It's all the Japanese you need to know.
Is that Japanese?
It's Tokyo in Japan.
Huh?
Capacity crowd begins to file out. We have 125 left, but there's no doubt about the outcome. The Panthers have rung up their 4th victory of the season, and it's due in no small part to the play of a guy who's our player of the game, and we'll be getting to him in just a moment.
Really showed some explosiveness tonight. This was a close game for a while, 6 points at the half, and Pitt just opened it up to a 15 and then a 20-point game within a matter of minutes.
Mike Goodson gets his first point of the evening, and the Panthers now lead it 71-53. West Virginia's first opponent, George Mason, scored 74 points. That's the high of the year for an opposition team, and the Panthers now have 72.
Goodson's played a very solid floor game.
Three-pointer, no good. Miller with the rebound. Smith with a block. West Virginia with the ball. And Shaw is fouled by Smith. Charles Smith commits his 4th foul with 1:13 remaining.
He's blocked a number of shots in low tonight. I've got him for at least 4 to 5, Bill, where he's got his hand on the ball down low.
Came in with 19 on the season, had 81 last year, and I believe at last look was leading the nation in block shots.
Excellent timing.
Shooting percentages tell the tale in the second half.
58% for Pitt, 36% for West Virginia, and that really caught up with West Virginia in the second half, when Pitt was really hot starting that second half.
Good job defensively on the boards for Jerome Lane and Smith. We get a collision by Smith at midcourt with Shaw, and West Virginia comes up with a basketball. Yearwood off to Prue, and Darrell Prue cuts it to a 72-57 15-point lead, and a foul in the backcourt by Brooks with 1:01 remaining. Both clubs now have long periods of time off. The Panthers will not play for 1 week. They'll host Robert Morris here at the Fieldhouse a week from tonight at 8 o'clock. And West Virginia has 9 days off, apparently for exams. They do not have to play until a week from Monday when they go to Rutgers to play a league game. Their 2nd of the season. Their 3rd of the season. They're 2-0 of the league at the Atlantic 10.
That's right. They beat St. Joseph's and St. Bonaventure for a couple of those wins.
On the road at St. Joe's is an impressive win because St. Joe's is the defending Atlantic 10 champ.
Sure was, and they beat him by 12.
Paul Evans working with the Panthers, hoping that on the road they play as well as they do at home. And that's one of the keys to this team this year. Good job on the boards by Smith and Aiken. Panthers come down with a loose ball. And we got an intentional foul at midcourt as Shaw puts his arms around Goodson and gives him a bear hug. 51 seconds left.
Intentional foul charged.
That'll be a 2-shot foul. The intentional foul by Shaw stops the clock at 51 seconds. Shaw has 3 fouls.
You have to reach in for the ball with the man who has the ball to pick up a 1-on-1 foul, and that time Shaw just grabbed Goodson with a 2-shotter.
Goodson will get the second try after the miss. Mike Goodson of Elizabeth, New Jersey.
I don't think you'll see a lot in the box score tomorrow that'll indicate how well he's played in this game, running the floor and leading the fast break.
Panthers by 17 with 49 seconds left. And Mike Goodson now in the basketball game. 3 points all in the second half. Shaw with a loose ball pickup. Smith got a piece of it, and here come the Panthers. Jerome Lane. Is fouled in there. Everybody got off balance, and the officials quickly step in before anybody could misinterpret the collision. Believe me, all of that was unintentional. It was just off-balance bodies coming together.
I think Jerome Lane was just trying to think of what he wanted to do on this one as Mike Goodson sets up the slam dunk. He's going up, and he decides, yes, the left hand.
He's gone to that left hand several times this year. He likes to think of himself as a creative slam dunker.
Yeah, I think that he goes up, and when you have that kind of leaping ability, not that I was ever blessed with that problem, and he can create what he wants as he's up in midair.
Paul Evans doesn't mind creativity as long as it doesn't result in a lag in productivity.
As long as you're winning by 17 points with under a minute to go in the game and batting the lead to 19.
So the crowd enjoying things, and it's a familiar scene here at Fitzgerald Fieldhouse, a sellout back to the rafters. 6,800, just a few bodies shy of that figure. And I suspect that there may be a couple of more people in here than the announced figure, because it's packed, despite the fact that it's local live television. Panthers lead it by 20 points with 26 seconds left, and they've scored 77. That's a high against West Virginia this year. We told you at the start of the game the key would be defense against offense. In this one, offense prevails. Steve Maslick checks into the Panther lineup. Number 25. Number 12 is Pat Cavanaugh, a walk-on quarterback from Grove City for the Panthers. Number 15 is Brett Vincent for West Virginia. Brooks missing from long range. Tico Cooper with a rebound. Here comes Demetrius Gore. Off to Maslick. He misses the bunny, and here comes West Virginia. And Miller is tripped by Maslick. Miller will not go to the line. West Virginia will have possession.
It's a good job by Gore, though. He set up Maslick for the layup. In fairness to Maslick, he's right off the bench, and he isn't really warmed up yet. Good unselfish play by Gore as you look at Paul Evans substituting freely now to get a lot of the players that work so hard in practice every day into this ballgame.
Scott Colombo, number 5, is in for Pitt. And there's a long jumper and the miss by West Virginia's Wade Smith. And we've got the buzzer, and that's the final score. Ladies and gentlemen, the Pitt Panthers defeat the West Virginia Mountaineers by a score of 78-57. The Panthers scored too many points to suit the West Virginia defense for this evening. Our Plymouth player of the game, Demetrius Gore. 20 points for the Panthers. They missed him when he was gone. They needed him when he was in there, and he was the secret to the Panthers' explosiveness tonight.
Especially in the second half, Bill, as that half got going. Gore had 15 of his 20 in the second half and was outstanding.
We'll wrap it up in just a moment.
The time is coming when a powerful business tool will separate the winners from the losers.
Jack, good thing you called.
A tool known as the human voice.
We need to talk business.
The time is now, and businesses with the strongest voice already depend on Bell of Pennsylvania for unsurpassed quality and unmatched value in regional toll calls. VIP volume discounts with lower rates for heavy callers. Watch service for heavier callers and even lower rates. And 800 toll-free service to invite customer orders. Dial 1-800-THE-CALL for Bell of Pennsylvania business calling services and give your company a stronger voice for today and times to come.
On my way, honey. See you in about 11 seconds.
Bell of Pennsylvania. It pays to call on someone you know.
The Mountaineers came in undefeated, but they have suffered the pangs of defeat for the first time in 1986 as they lose to the Panthers by a final score of 78-57. Demetrius Gore led all scorers in the game unofficially with 20 points, also in double figures. Curtis Aiken and Jerome Lady each had 16. Charles Smith had 14 points, so the Panthers have 4 of their 5 starters in double figures. For West Virginia, Darrell Prue led scorers with 18. Tyrone Shaw came off the bench and scored 11, but Wayne Yearwood was held to 9 points. We're ready for an on-court interview with our color analyst, Ron Perry, who's got a special guest. Ron?
Well, joining me here at courtside is Pitt's first-year head coach, Paul Evans. Paul, you have to be pleased with this game. It was a very difficult game. We thought going in, you're averaging over 100 points a game going in against a team that plays very stubborn defense. We thought you handled the pressure pretty well for the most part and limited a West Virginia team to under 40% shooting for the game.
Right. I thought we played pretty good defense. We gave a lot of second shots in the first half, which hurt us. Otherwise, I think we had a better lead. And then in the second half, I thought, Demetrius Gore just came in and took charge and really played well, and a lot of the kids did. But, Goodson handled the ball as well as he's handled it all season. So we did have pretty good success against the press.
We talked about both of those players at the top of the show. We knew there'd be a lot of pressure, and we thought this was a game where Goodson could come of age and thought that he played a very solid floor game for you.
I thought he did. I thought he really handled the offense pretty well. He kept it off the floor when he had to, put it on the floor when he could take it up the floor, and really probably was his best complete game. You know, he rebounded even pretty well for us, but he ran the show as well as he has all season.
It was subtle in the first half, but there were several minutes where Demetrius Gore picked up his third foul. You had to take him out of the game, and West Virginia's press was that much more effective while he was out of the game.
Right, it was. We had to put Rod Brooken in, who's a freshman, and, you know, I think he panicked a little and just doesn't have the poise that Demetrius does. When Demetrius is out there, we really have 3 guards on the floor, so that really gives us a lot better advantage in handling a press.
The only word I can think of for the second half, we're in a very close ball game here, little trading back and forth, was explosive.
Right, I think we can be. When we can control the boards, we're real quick, and I think we run pretty well, and we execute the break pretty well. So we can group buckets pretty well.
Charles Smith and Curtis Aiken, I thought, really played within themselves very well. There were not a lot of shooting opportunities for either one. They both ended up in double figures and took the good shots, and I thought played a very solid all-around game.
I think they did. I don't think we got the ball to Charles enough, especially in the first half. The second half, we got to him a little bit better, but we still missed him several times. You know, I think that we've got to work on that to get our guards to give it up a little bit more and to get it inside a little bit more.
4 out of your first 5 is pretty good as the Panther head coach. We wish you the best of luck as you continue.
Thank you.
All right, that's been Paul Evans joining us at courtside. Back to you, Bill.
Thanks, Ron. There's no secret as to what happened here tonight. In addition to being explosive, the Panthers shot very well and consistently, as they have all year. The Panthers shooting 57% coming in, shot 58% in the ball game. 29 of 50 is the official count. West Virginia, well, their shooting let them down. They had 21 of 64. That's a percentage of 32.8%. And if you make 1/3 of your shots in basketball, especially on the road, you've got problems, which the Mountaineers had tonight. I thought the Panthers did a very good job of attacking that pressure and getting that transition game going. And I tell you what, Ron, I've watched a lot of basketball. Certainly you've watched a lot of basketball and played a lot of basketball at Holy Cross. The Panthers launched that fast break off the defensive rebound as well as any team I've seen.
And I think the word that, Paul Evans just used for that was rebounding. And when you can play good defense and rebound, that really keys the fast break. And it was almost frightening to see how the points got put up there so quickly in a very close game. I think if Pitt can keep the front court players and really the starting 5 out of foul trouble, go to Brooken, go to Cooper, they'll be very strong this year.
At the outset of the game, we said that one of the keys for Pitt, actually 2 of the keys for Pitt, would be the 2 Gs, Goodson and Gore. I think they both passed with flying colors tonight.
Well, we mentioned the solid floor game that Goodson played, and players were really looking for him on the court. When the fast break was starting, they looked for Goodson to get him the ball, so they're starting to have good confidence in Mike. And then when he led the break, oftentimes he found Gore at the other end, and Gore really finishes off.
And I think inside West Virginia had a problem. Not only did Pinckney kind of not get into the flow, I think Charles Smith had a lot to say about that.
Well, Pitt played a 2-3 zone and were able to really deny some passing lanes inside, and West Virginia was not really looking for the perimeter jump shot. As a result, they shot very poorly in the game.
Panthers again in action in Big East Wars will be January 19th. The Panthers right here at Fitzgerald will take on the St. John's Redmen and Coach Lou Carnesecca. And of course, they are not picked very high as a finisher in the Big East this year, but Louis and company always seem to come up with a good effort. So the Panthers on television will have that big assignment on the 19th of January. Ronnie, your final thought on the game tonight?
Well, I just think it was a good win at home for the Pitt Panthers. It was a tough team in West Virginia that they beat, and they showed their really ability to blow a game open in the second half.
Good to work with you again, Ron Perry.
My pleasure, Bill.
Okay, be sure to catch our next telecast of Big East basketball Monday to January 19th when the Panthers host St. John's. Along with Ron Perry, this is Bill Hillgrove. Again, the final score, Pitt 78 and the Mountaineers 57. The preceding has been a Big East Conference.
For the holidays, we always go to Grandma's.
They never leave.
She's got this special way she prepares food. What's that special thing you do, Grandma?
I cook it.
The holidays.
This season, I'm eating out. Batter fried shrimp at Long John Silver's, plump golden brown, and I don't have to cook. Now that's a holiday treat.
Gee, Grandma, you're not serious about not cooking, are you?
Long John Silver's.
Watch me.
Sounds good to me.
I was a
a young girl, fresh out of a small town, and my very first job, literally, was the lead in a major motion picture musical.
Eventually, at 21, I became the National Director of Promotion for RCA Records.
Were mornings in Pittsburgh after we'd had a good recording session the day before. I couldn't wait to get into the studio.
Monday night at 8 on Channel 4.
Remember how the old movie stars used to look? They wore a long black dress and a long black cigarette holder, darling. But fashion's changed. Today, smoking is out. Healthy is in. Nobody wants their lungs wearing black. Today, this is what the fashionable gifts and cards will be wearing. Christmas seals from the American Lung Association. They help the American Lung Association fight lung disease. Today, fitness is in. So take care of your lungs. They're only human.
The American Lung Association, the Christmas seal people.
Travel the world with National Geographic, tomorrow at 5.
Tonight, on Heart of the City.
Scissors killer again. Same MO, hacks off their hair, stabs them with scissors.
Well, at least this one will live.
Freeze!
The guy's a good match.
Just because he's been in a mental hospital, it doesn't mean he's been running around hacking up women.
Dad, listen. They came. They took Robin away.
Wait a minute. Who did what?
The police. Dad, she's been busted for possession of cocaine.
Daddy, I didn't do anything.
Heart of the City, brought to you by the makers of Sure Antiperspirant. Now you can raise your hand even higher because new Sure Aerosol is drier.
Raise your hand.
Hold it, America. You can raise it or you can raise it higher.
Raise it higher. Now you're drier. Now you're drier with new improved Sure.
New formula Sure Aerosol. Stronger ingredients that go on drier and keep you drier, too.
You got confidence, America, even more than before. Raise it higher. Sure is drier for sure. Le Jardin.
They say romance is back in style. I say it never went out. Le Jardin says it too.
Le Jardin de Max Factor, the incurably romantic fragrance.
You know you love it.
Turn on the juice, let it flow. Turn on the juice, let it go.
Orange juice with Florida seal of approval. It means standards even higher than the federal government's.
Turn on the juice.
I smelled it upstairs and couldn't believe it.
Yeah? Well, stick around.
Hey, I'm amazed you're out of the sack even. And this?
Well, I guess you could call it an awakening, an inspiration.
At least.
Beryllium. Atomic number 4, atomic weight 9.0122, used as a strengthener for copper and other metals.
Wow, that's what I usually say. Suddenly, her brain begins to function.
Good morning, sweetheart.
Oh, morning, Daddy. I am going to crush this last chem test flat.
Terrific. Please relax and enjoy.
Wow, Kevin.
I'm impressed.
I mean, after all, this is the big day. I mean, I had to wait 6 months for a spot in my driver's ed class, and finally, I have my driving permit.
Clear the streets, alert the hospitals, call out the National Guard.
Robin, you are so stupid sometimes.
Ease off, Kevin. She'll have her turn next year.
Oh, go. Clear the streets. Alert the hospitals.
Robin, you are so stupid sometimes.
Well, anyway, I mean, the big fact that you did agree to give me driving lessons makes this a very special occasion. I mean, it's only a matter of time before I slip behind the leather-wrapped steering wheel of my very own Ferrari Testarossa.
Oh, sure.
That's a great little way to go to school. Speaking of which...
But no jokes, though, about these lessons.
No joke. We'll work on it a little bit every day, okay?
Great. Terrific. I'm stoked.
You know, it's really all beginning to come together around here, notice?
Yeah, it's true.
Unit 10, transport hospital.
Unit 37 available, returning to base.
Scissors killer again. Same MO, hacks off their hair, stabs them with scissors.
Well, at least this one will live.
Live, yeah. How's she ever gonna get past it?
Over and over.
Saw him run away, Mrs. Armbruster?
I screamed and he threw her down. I was so frightened.
I can understand that now.
Any prints?
No. No prints, no marks, no nothing. All his usual trademarks.
He's branching out. He usually doesn't operate around security buildings.
Ma'am, which way did he run?
Through the gate over there. He wasn't very tall, wearing dark clothes and some sort of mask over his face. I just can't believe it.
I see. Is there anything else you remember?
Anything you remember could be very important.
Liana was so beautiful. She'd been on magazine covers.
She's a model?
How can there be men like